Snacks. What it do, snackers and snackettes? I just want to double check and make sure my man Sincere went live everywhere.
We go everywhere.
Except anime chat. I just had to check.
It's okay. It's okay. I messed up, so y'all gotta double check my work this time. It's all good. I understand.
It happens.
I understand.
It happens. It really happens. Welcome to Lotus Snacks Weekly on a Monday.
Yeah,
it's a little Monday. What isn't different? This is where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today, con season is back, baby.
Woo!
Con season is back.
Wham! As
Wham! At least for a little while. Con season is back at least for a little while, man. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. I hope you are feeling so much better. It's definitely good to see.
Definitely.
Yeah, con season's back. Theaters are mad at Black Widow.
Yeah.
What up, Brooks? WWE is garbage on Peaccock. Man, listen. So many things to discuss. And right now, my favorite thing about today is making jokes wait until the very end of the show to talk about wrestling. I am so enjoying the wait. But we are going to talk about it. Because I'm interested in it, right? Because maybe they made a mistake. But before we do that, again, con season is back. The season is hectic and heavy and so forth. Let's see. We had 2 cons, a meetup, and a live chat this weekend. We was busy people.
Yeah.
So I went to BlurCon Friday.
Yeah, so you out there mixing it with the people
all day,
you know.
Dang, wait,
doing your thing.
Nah, not mixing it with the people, mixing it with my people. Was out there in the streets with my folks, with the folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing. BlurCon just continues to grow. Mm-hmm. What's up, Heather? It is. I think they had upwards of 5,000 people. Which again is continued growth. Yeah, people were definitely ready to be out. It was incredible to just see the sheer number of people, the incredible amount of cosplay, the time and detail. It was really, really great to see, just a lot of our artist friends there and set up and conning and making money. People out purchasing. It was great. It was great to see. We have called BlurCon like the con homecoming, an HBCU homecoming out of season. Next year's theme is homecoming.
Yeah, it's homecoming.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about everything, y'all. The barbershop, it was all just kind of back, right? The food trucks at a big stage outside where the food trucks are this year. Performances live outside. You know what I mean? City of Virginia, like, y'all too loud. We like, so what?
Right?
Really? They ain't used to it. It's like,
yeah, just, look, great folks like Shady Hayes doing her DC cosplay meetup and her Marvel cosplay meetup. And I talked to DJ Senpai. I talked to IQ. I talked to Substantial. Lots of, all the great music folks. Mm-hmm. I saw some dope performances. Met up with Dr. D, you know what I mean, before his wrestling panels and so forth. He had 2 this year. it just was good. Talked to Hellspawn Cosplay, Demetrius, had a long conversation, spent a lot of time with Stephen Jones of Auditorium, Greg Burnham, Tuskegee Ayers, TJ Sterling, Kevin Hunt, just, again, just artists and people out, you know what I'm saying? Like out and about. It was just good to see. I heard complaints. As always, though, that's how things are.
Always going to be the handful. So,
but for the most part, I'm gonna say that the enjoyment that people had, not just about the con itself, but I think about being out and about and back together and seeing people they hadn't seen in a long time, and longer than what they normally take. Between seeing people, was just it was really good. You know what I mean? It's good to see and talk with Violet Verse and her parents, and just see all of what's going on there, and listen to folks talk about what kind of new art they got coming and what cons we're gonna see each other at next, where people are going. It just was really good. It just felt great. There were a lot of people I missed. People do want to see Blur be his best. Here's the thing. There's a different kind of pressure on BlurCon. Let's just be real about the fact that it's a black.
Yeah. It's the black, combo convention.
So they had to take some extra steps, you know what I mean? Like, you couldn't get in if you weren't vaccinated. Showing ID, showing vaccines. It took longer to get people in. I mean, there were really long lines, but again, you're gonna have long lines because people, you're doing a little extra to make sure everybody's safe. What they actually did this year was, instead of having badges, they had masks printed up. That
was
BlurCon on them, and your mask was your badge. And so they gave out wristbands too, but it was just kind of like, you don't have to wear this mask if you have a different mask you want to wear or whatever. But like, having it on means you've paid, we validated you, and you can come in.
That's a good idea.
You could just have it hanging or dangling if you, if you have a different mask or something like that. But having to just make sure you take those steps and go over that kind of information with everybody as they come in, explaining to them, what it is and how to process it. It's going to take longer. You know what I mean? And sometimes they move on CP time, which in this case is cosplay time. It's cosplay time. You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
It's a real thing. So again, I heard some of the complaints. You know what I mean? And I don't. I mean, I guess to a certain extent, rightfully so. However, I certainly think that what they managed to pull off and the overall satisfaction way outweighs any dissatisfaction people had, as far as that is concerned. Again, there were a lot of people I missed. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get to catch Awesome's Prime. I didn't like they, there was just a lot going on.
So much.
But again, that's a good thing. So, hopefully it's a good sign, and things will continue to move forward the way that they are and should. Seeing a lot of growth, with that con in particular, and want to continue to see it do just that.
What up, Alfonso?
Yo.
We also had StellarCon. Very first StellarCon ever over in Harford County. Jokes and I went to that. And
I was putting in work, I saw.
It was
that was
audio. Listen, you should have seen Tatiana on the ones and twos.
She was on the soundboard. On
the soundboards, bro. Oh yeah.
Hey, it was all hands on deck for this. It was like, we got in there. Yeah, you guys gonna do the sound and everything. We was just like, yeah, we can make it work. Like, but it was it was all hands on.
I do.
Okay.
I have pictures.
I've uploaded a couple already, but it was all hands on deck.
Had my man Jokes over on that joint EQing for guitars.
I was my man getting my.
Yeah, it was real out there. Listen, StellarCon was great turnout, lots of people. Again, you can tell not only are people hungry to just get out, but they're hungry for this kind of content. You know what I mean? The artists and vendors who were there seemed to do really well and clean up really well. Jokes, what were your overall impressions of Stellar?
I thought Stellar was phenomenal. Like, for me, this was my first con back since I don't know what it was last one. So just being in the environment, Like for a first, let's say a first time con, the turnout was absolutely amazing. It was like when those
MagFest 2019. No, 2020.
No, 2020. That was at least in 2020. But the moment the doors opened, like it was just absolute. Everybody was just in there, and the fact that people were going to, everyone's booths and walking around. There was folks that you could tell that wanted to come and enjoy the content that was going to go on stage. They literally just came right in, sat down, just waiting for everything to go along. Like obviously we had some of the behind scenes stuff, but at least from what we saw face front, like everything went smooth. I know they were running around like their heads cut off in the back trying to get stuff done, but I will have to say Stellar for the first year went off. I feel like it couldn't have gone any better.
How you feel about beating up on a little kid in rock, paper, scissors like a 4-year-old?
Hey, the thing was, I wasn't even trying. Like, I'm just sitting here like throwing out like, yeah. I told Cindy, I was like, yeah, I had to beat a little kid.
Did he step up to the plate?
Oh, I saw it, and you were happy about it. Like I saw the post.
He gets destroyed.
You know what I mean? I had to bring in extra folks. I had to bring in some heavy hitters from outside to come out.
Ironically, it was Iron Man. It was Iron Man that had to take me down. So I thought that was hilarious. I was Thanos. So it
yeah.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah, it was a little tricky. We had jokes on detail for the costume contest, both for the kids and family group contest as well as the adult and group contest. Had him on tap with some really dope and tried and true cosplayers. Some jokes. How you feel about being on the judging panel with folks way better than you? And what the judges?
Hey, it was an honor. Like I will say, it was an honor. Like I will tell you, just like you said before, we've seen tons and tons. I will tell you, especially when we got judging, we were just like, yo, can we give out like judges picks and all this? Because it was just so many amazing ones that were going on there. It was just like I felt that pressure of picking the right one. Oh, it was real.
Yeah.
But like it was amazing. We could see, the details some of these people put into creating these cosplays. I will tell you my personal favorite overall, but from the kids and from the adults. It was actually from the kids one. It was the little girl that was dressed up as the Riddler from
that joint was fire.
That joint was fire. I'm talking like Jim Carrey Riddler. Like at the end of the movie with the white with the bedazzle. Yo, that joint was fire.
That joint was fire. But you lying. You know it was Edge and Christian.
Edge and Christian was fire. And then Sin, I don't know if you saw you couldn't see with the picture, but they had on Trunks and Goten shirts doing fusion on each one of their shirts. It was hilarious.
That's too much, yeah.
But they sold it. They got into character. I mean, they were Edge and Christian from the moment they walked in that con to the moment they walk out. They was Edge and Christian the whole way through.
Oh, it was shenanigans. It was shenanigans the whole time. And yeah, no doubt. Like she really did the again. Edge and Christian were bananas. Like the two of them were like Edge and Christian were all over the place. And again, when you're doing something like that, and you're not just looking at what does the outfit look like, but also it is like maybe time and effort. It also is like energy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like what you're putting forth. There was not multiple kazoos. Bruh, and then was all over the convention, dog. It was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. I was so upset. But probably only because it was that good. You know what I'm saying? Heather, speaking of you having feedback about BlurCon, although you already bought your 2022 badge, which I respect. Mm-hmm. My question is, did you go? So one of the things I really love about BlurCon is that every year at the very end, when they do the closing ceremonies, they also have a Q&A session where like people can come in and talk about issues they had, things they like, things they didn't like. They do a full-on feedback session where the founders do sit in for a good portion of that, but then the majority of the people who help them run things, Carmen and Ashley and all of those good folks, will sit in. They will take notes. They take people's names and information down. Like they really do try to work to make adjustments and things like that, and to really hear and take heed to the feedback, which is a thing I don't see other conventions do. And we go to a lot of conventions.
Yes.
So that's probably one of my favorite things about BlurredCon is that they at least will do that. So they didn't do it live this year. It's online. Well, that's probably even better.
Even still, they still have it though. Yeah, no one else has it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else that has it. I mean, not that I can recall. MagFest might.
They have
something
along that line.
I think they just have it embedded into their closing ceremonies. I think they just do it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then we had anime chat. Sin was bogged down with that Saturday night. You know, listen. So I guess the expectation was that it was probably gonna be an hour, but like an hour in, y'all wasn't even close to being done.
No, I expected it was gonna go an hour and a half at least. We went a little bit over that, but it was overall like great conversation. Really, shout out to Noah, Marcus, and Gabby. Like we all came through. We was having a great time just discussing these different sports animes. Some people just started them for the first time. Some of us are veterans that have seen it before, whatever. Just getting everybody's different take on it, and you know the different questions I would throw at them was just amazing. And even more when we got off, we sat there till like probably 12:30, just to the point. Like Gage, I had to cut the record back on. Like, no, this is just too good right now. Even though we all just chilling, like we just in there talking about Bleach, Naruto, who wins at this, who wins at that, Big Three stuff, like, and just that passion and everything. It was a great night overall. Definitely looking forward to getting that stuff chopped up. And anybody who wasn't able to watch it, I actually pinned it to the top of the anime chat page, so you can just go right there and just sit there and check it out. But it was a really, really great time. Really, really great discussion.
Hey, Marcus, I'm glad you was on time for the anime chat this time, bro.
I saw a message pop up like I ain't sleep. I saw that and that popped up.
You know what I mean? I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you, sir.
He wanted to get off that One Piece slander, but he knew better with nothing but straw hats on there with him.
Yeah,
he could have got that jump.
He could have got jump, Marcus. Tough crowd, Marcus. Man, he tried a little bit. One Piece art out in the streets, bro. You missed out, man.
That was the first thing we saw.
I'm pretty sure.
You missed out, bro. There was some dope One Piece work out there. Brooks said All Star was his first con. Baltimore will be his second. Next year, definitely catching BlurredCon. Listen, let me tell you something. I can tell you using text, speech to text.
Yeah, buddy.
I like that.
BlurredCon. What is this BlurredCon?
Yeah, man. Listen, I highly recommend it. I'm gonna tell you something. As a regular con goer, as a person who has been visiting cons, doing somewhere, between 5 and 10 cons a year, and doing that for probably the better part of a decade or so, BlurredCon is a completely different experience. As a black geek, as a black nerd, as a black man.
I peep Marcus.
The literally walking into BlurredCon, the music, the atmosphere, the camaraderie. It's so anime heavy too. Listen. People's rooms and what they bring to their rooms will leave you blurred. Cause let me tell you something. Food trucks was popping.
I know they was. They were 24 hours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this time they did 24 hours.
So, did y'all see like the lessons being learned from past ones?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, last year. Oh, first year they did the food trucks.
They had trucks bringing ice in. You know what I'm saying? Like it was real out there.
I just love to see that evolution of every year from the first one. Like, oh, y'all didn't realize what y'all was getting into.
Blurred
doing this. And just see every year. Yeah,
it don't matter what time it is. Blurred
24 hours a day.
Well, not just that, but like especially when everybody, like, you got to remember, it's like you're coming out of the club. When you have a DJ set that runs from midnight to 3 a.m. at 3:15, bro, you better be ready to go in that parking lot. You hear me? Like they coming for you, bruh.
Oh, facts.
And they gonna bring. Let me tell you something. The conference rooms in the Hyatt are the coolest rooms in the building. It's so like the ones that are downstairs in the basement, the big conference room. Those are the rooms that have the best air conditioning. Like if you, cause you know the way that joint is set up, that center, that the sun just beams in all day, right? In them rooms, you know it's right, but the like 15 minutes into the solid DJ set at midnight, man, that's the hottest spot. Man, that thing is volcano hot. Dance club funk, bro. Yeah, a whole greenhouse. Like it's so real in that joint. You want to talk about sweating out weaves, bro? That joint is it's real in that joint. Like I again, like there's nothing like to be real with you. The closest thing I can tell you to what it's like is like homecoming. It's if you've ever been to a HBCU homecoming. It's like seeing people you remember seeing, good times, daps, high fives. Look at you. Oh, we all Deku. Let's all take a picture, Deku. Oh, we up in there. Oh, we about to listen. Not even listen. I'm gonna tell a story real quick. I'm gonna tell a story real quick. No names. I'm with an artist friend that we know. We talking at the table. He's doing a solid for another artist that he knows that is at BlurCon, has never been to BlurCon, and isn't brown, and somehow for some reason didn't have a table. So this artist was sharing their table with that person, sort of just trying to give them a little bit of space until they could try to work something out, get a table. But the artist he was sharing the table with also like brought his entire family, like wife and kids and whatever. And again, not brown.
Right.
So they're trying to wait to try to get some level of confirmation. Is the table going to open up? Can he get a table, move into a space, do something? So my man has to take a moment and he needs to step out. He's been waiting at the table, trying to wait to see what he could do and maybe make some sales or whatever. My man has to step out because his family is having a fit and they're ready to go because people are twerking out because there's twerking happening.
They didn't know.
They
didn't
know. Oh, you didn't know?
It's BlurCon.
It's BlurCon. Listen, bro. Listen,
that should be on the flyer. There will be twerking.
Listen, that joint needs a Surgeon General warning. You know, like I don't need like my hand. Listen, it's real. It's so real, and so hey, listen, Heather. Listen, here's the thing. At a convention, especially with cosplay, cheeks are out anyway. You also have to remember that BlurCon is not like your standard con when you're talking Awesome Con.
Absolutely.
Baltimore Comic-Con. These are 3-day cons that start at like 10 a.m. and end at like 7 or 8.
Certain time.
Right.
BlurCon starts at 12 p.m. on Friday and does not end until 4 p.m. on Sunday. There is stuff again that doesn't start until midnight.
Henry, there's no lies being told.
There are panels on like BDSM. There are panels on like BlurCon is a different
beast,
bruh. Like listen.
Everything last year they had like a hentai room like late at night. Like
pretty sure they did.
Like there are things I will not discuss. That happened. It's a lot like Oda. It's a lot like Katsu. It's a lot like MagFest, except it's BlurCon. Oh man. It is. Listen, don't get it twisted. It is still very family. It's still very family oriented. It's safe to bring your family and your kids or whatever. Like I just didn't have that kind of time. But again, it's a good time. It is. I mean, again, there's a barbershop there in the con. You know what I'm saying? Yes. People are getting their hair cut, getting shape ups. You know what I'm saying? Like in the con. And that's a real thing. Matter of fact, they was doing them joints. I ran into Jason Scott, aim, hit, go. Good dude. He didn't run tournaments, but he had the game room on lock set up. They was doing shape ups in that joint. Like, it just, man, listen, I ran into people.
Shape up while you gaming.
Remember when we was at Nerdpocalypse, Safepocalypse, and we ran into the two ladies from Philly that was like, what do we do in Baltimore? We're here for the night. Ran into them at BlurCon. You know what I'm saying? One of them was at a table from something that was going on in Philly. Like, it just, there were people, I ran into people from Ohio, from Pennsylvania, from like, people travel.
People travel for this.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And I'm telling you now.
Next year's
what other con can you hear? So, I'm gonna tell you where you can hear Soca, Heather. Nerdtino in Philly in November. That's where you can go and you can hear Soca. Nerdtino is literally like the Latinx version of BlurCon.
Yeah.
It's not quite that big yet, but it's been going on for a number of years. The guy who runs it is a really good dude. I usually see him at Blurred. I did not see him this year. Yeah, Marcus. Soca, like, bro, you will hear everything. And here's the thing. Not only will you hear it, but you will hear like anime remixes of Soca. You will bro, like it's not normal. It's like us out.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's us out. Like, if I didn't stand right now, the reels that I shot of Afro Cocoa Puffs on stage singing, "She gonna be black today. She gonna be black today." That joint has like 3,000 views on my joint. Like, I'm sure hers is way, you know what I mean, or whatever. Like, that's it was a turn up outside in the food truck lot, bruh. Like, it's
that's a perfect place to do it.
Yeah. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's super incredible. Again, and that's not to overshadow all the other cons, because you can go to these other cons and have a great time. We did. We had a great time in StellarCon. Soca Thundercats, YouTube it. Listen, I want you to know. Look at Sin already at work. Look at him. Okay.
No. The timing was there, but no.
Yeah. Can't tell me who I can and can't cosplay. That's a real thing. I mean, again, it's good to kind of be back, getting into the rhythm of doing shows. I'm hoping we can all just stay healthy. That everybody that, with this new Delta variant of COVID kind of starting to knock things out and change things up. Again, I do think it's still gonna be important for us to just kind of stay on our toes. You know what I mean? And make sure we do what's best. But we got conventions coming. We'll be at Otakon. We'll be at AwesomeCon. You know what I mean? We'll be at Baltimore. You know what I mean? We'll be at Ocean City Comic-Con. Like, we're gonna keep. We have work to do. We got plans. We got panels coming up at these conventions, press passes at these conventions. So we're gonna be there. We're gonna be out.
Train keeps on moving. Nothing will derail this train.
Still, I'm gonna tell you what. If you in here right now, I'ma highly suggest you consider getting your passes, and if you can, booking your room for BlurCon for next year. I'm just gonna tell you to go ahead and do it now. You know what I mean? You might as well. It was a lot of great people there. I saw some great people who got, who were guests. It just, again, it's cool. It's cool. It's a cool time. Glad we got to do that. Listen, let's talk about a little bit of news, because I mean that's the thing we do here. I want to talk about Black Widow. Yesterday we had the Loading Snacks Movie Club Black Widow meetup. That was awesome. Thank you for those who came out. It's good to see you, Marcus, out and about. We should have took a picture, Marcus. Well, that's what I'm.
I don't know how we let that
what up, Perp?
Us.
We was busy talking about the movie.
Yeah. So,
Perp, what's good? But I put out, for those of you who are in Movie Club, I did make a post today asking for some suggestions for movies and things like that. I'm seeing some decent suggestions. I'm having to make some adjustments. My man said Flop Widow. I disagree.
Nah, I disagree.
And we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, so I did ask for some suggestions. So again, if you're in Movie Club, go in there, check that out. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna take those suggestions, kind of look at what some of the genres and things are. I guess it just depends on how many, movies we get.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a vote. The initial intent was to do a vote on genre, and then use genre to decide what movies fall into what, and then do a vote based on that, which one wins. But we'll see how it turns out over the next couple of days. And and we'll get into when you can expect to hear us have that great conversation, that very deep conversation about Black Widow, at the end of the show today. I will feed you that information. Right now, what I want to talk about as far as Black Widow is how quickly Black Widow's theatrical numbers went off a cliff second week. And how theaters are upset, bro.
I see.
They are upset.
Just a little bit.
They're blaming Disney Plus, and I'm not mad at that. So here's the thing. So Black Widow pulled in like 80 million first weekend, in theaters, domestically, like 200 million total. If you include the 60 million in premiere purchases. Second weekend, it was like 26 million. Man, it's a pretty steep drop off. And again, movie theater chains are just like, can't do this. This ain't no good. Before we start getting into really numbers and semantics and back and forth about it, I want to kind of hear where the two of you are on this. I guess I'll start with you, Sin, since you're up top with me. Joe's at the bottom by himself.
I mean, I think they also need to look at the reviews that it was getting. You can't just put it on. I wouldn't put it on Disney Plus. I mean, reviews are coming out a week before, and they were, a little bit shaky. I mean, we all see it. We enjoyed it, but we do recognize it's not like one of the best top tier, MCU joints. So you have to take that into account. You know what I mean? Even Perp got in and was like, nah, that joint was, you know what I mean? So you can't put it all on that. I do agree that Disney Plus, put a serious dent in it, and that's all for Disney. So I know they're loving it.
Not a bad movie.
Yeah,
it's not. By all means, it ain't a bad movie.
And yes, Torrance
Perp says it's a bad movie.
Nah,
yeah. But I'm using that just to say, like,
Perp says.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm responding.
No. I'm gonna leave it there until Sam finishes his thought, because I want to hear you. I want to see you battle, rap battle, sir. I want to hear your bars. I want to see you battle Perp. So I'm gonna leave it there. Sam, continue your thought.
And yes, the torrenting thing that they just discussed that once it hit Disney Plus, within minutes you have high quality versions on torrent sites. Of course, knew that was going to happen. Anyway. Yeah, it happens regardless. Yeah, I mean, so I see why they're frustrated, but I'm sorry, we're in a new age now because of COVID. Things just work differently, and y'all just have to figure out how to move with it going forward, because I don't think this train is going to slow down. That's
jokes. Where are you, buddy?
I'm right where Sin is at. Disney Plus definitely put a bigger hammer in it. The people that wanted to go see it in theaters were the ones that just right off the break saw it in theaters, got it over with. Probably were like us, who actually saw it in theaters, but also gave Disney Plus the money as well too, because we wanted to see it day one. But it's like I don't know what theaters are expecting. Like with Disney Plus doing it the way that they do, they have to find some way else to adapt to it, because COVID, I'm sorry, but it's the facts. It's changed everything forever. And it's like Disney is now putting everything on Disney Plus. You pay your premiere fee to get in so you can watch it. You know what? People are going to pay for that, but still go to the theater. And you're going to have ones that don't do it the vice versa way as well too. Torrenting, for real, you can't even do that. That happens on a normal. Yeah, I get it. You got the high definition version of it now right off the break because you can get it from Disney Plus. But
people will watch a cam version, they just to see it and say they saw it.
Saw it, and that's been going on for years, and that still hasn't changed anything. So torrent, I would take out of the mix, but definitely the Disney Plus definitely is creating that gap for the theaters, because it's like I could pay $30 and watch this joint over and over again. So it's like versus paying $30 one time.
And don't gotta pay for concessions, and you have a nice surround sound system and a 4K TV, and
your whole family's there. Versus you taking your whole family, you may burn your whole paycheck up, taking the whole family out to the movie theater. So it's a change. It's happening, and we're seeing how it is, and theaters are going to have to change. Like, it is what it is.
I mean, listen, my take on it is, to some extent, the theater chains are right. I mean, traditionally there's like a 75-day window where something has to come into the theater before it is available elsewhere. Within that 75-day window, within the first 2 days, torrent sites already have it. It's just, that's what it is. Now, how good of a version you get also depends on whether or not they do international release, which is happening more and more because China is a much larger market than it used to be. In some cases, Black Widow has not released internationally yet. So it is still a bit of a test. And this is still a test. So I understand. Disney also presents a larger issue for most theater chains, because theater chains split revenue 50-50 most of the time with movie production houses. Disney is different. Disney's movies have such a draw that they actually usually have a higher percentage take from the theaters than everybody else, than Universal or Paramount or anybody else. Disney, because they're Disney, usually actually take more than 50% of the theater take. So again, for theaters, when you talk ticket sales and you're talking about a movie being $13 for one person, half of that goes to the theater chain and the other half of that goes to whomever put the movie out. Now you're at $7. You know what I'm saying? $6.50, right? But then another percentage of that goes to Disney because Disney takes a larger percentage of that. So when you talk about ticket sales, out of a $13 that you spend, the theater gets, if it's a Disney movie, somewhere between 5 and 6, give or take. You know what I'm saying? Dollars on that. So their job, what they want is to sell you popcorn and drinks and hot dogs and whatever else they can get from you for way more money than you would get when you sneak it into the theater in your purse, your pocket, your jacket, whatever. Like, they talk about pirating movies, but we've been pirating candy.
Candies. What? At theaters. I have brought whole meals into the theater.
Don't put the movie theater next to the dollar store.
Go in that joint and be like, how did somebody get this entire large pizza in the box into this joint? It happens. You understand what I'm saying? It happens. So again, there are other fish to fry. They have bigger issues than what that is. The reality of it is, though, my opinion on it is, in order for theaters to force all of these companies that now have their own on-demand streaming services, in order for them to do something that will fight that, what's up, Jimmy? Ticket prices have to go up because they will need to make more money. And they have their own streaming services in the fact that they offer you a subscription, like you have, Jokes, right? You have a subscription, probably to more than one, but it's probably AMC at least, right? You have, but there's Regal and there's AMC and there's whoever else, and they have their, you pay us this much a month and you can come see this many movies and you get a discount on your food and your drinks and whatever. That's the thing that they're doing to try to offset that. That won't even work now.
No. They need to make it more enticing to go to the theater now. Like, you have that, so you practically almost get that same experience from home now, and it's cheaper. So I feel like theaters, besides jacking up the price, like, there's something you have to come up with and create, like, to make it a reason to go to the theater, making an experience. You know what I'm saying? Besides just going to see a Marvel movie with all your friends. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. I mean, I disagree. I think you're wrong that the movie's a bad movie. I would say that wholeheartedly. I disagree that it's bad. But again, you're entitled to your opinion. The movie is a fine movie. It's good. It's not
Winter Soldier.
Correct. It is not what we have grown to expect from most Disney movies, from most MCU movies.
Yes.
From MCU movies to an extent. However, this also is the first movie that I feel like I've seen where I actually feel like I can see what they suffered in terms of visual effects, and like I can actually see the direct effects that COVID had on this movie.
Yeah.
Definitely not a Lifetime movie, dog.
Because
I unfortunately watch a lot of Lifetime. Yeah, you're doing too much now, like you reaching now.
You chugging this with Wonder Woman? You chugging this with like Captain Marvel? Like, no.
Wonder Woman was a bad movie.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 84 was a bad movie. Dare I say a terrible movie. This is not that. This movie is enjoyable. It's funny. It has great moments. It's super important to the overall arc of what's happening, even though it's a prequel. Like, this movie is doing a lot of things very well, especially by comparison. However, Disney's going to make their money.
Yes, Jimmy.
Regardless. Yeah, you so right, Jimmy. You so right.
Just because,
yeah, like, I can't. I'm not mad that box offices are upset. I think box offices have, again, like you said, Sin, they got a lot of work to do. Yeah. They have a lot of work to do. They need to prove that there's a real.
And I don't think they've.
Whoa.
Hold up. Let me throw it on the screen.
Whoa.
Hey, Perp, listen.
Whoa.
Can you get him out of the comments?
You just say Wonder Woman 84 was much better than Black Widow?
Whoa.
You're slipping. You are.
That right is an absolute no.
Yeah, that's the worst thing I've ever heard come out of your face.
Yeah,
like I don't know. Like I like right now.
Hey, look, even Heather's like, what?
I don't know what you doing. Yeah, Heather's saying. Yeah, I don't understand that at all. But here's what I'll say. You're right. Theaters absolutely. You're on the wrong format, Marcus. Theaters have a lot of work to do to prove that it's worth it for people to come out.
Oh, I love my chat family.
What in the world could theaters do to make you feel like it's worth going to the theater, other than force the companies that own and make these movies to not show it at home first, to give them exclusivity rights, right? And what would it cost them to do that? And in order for them to pay enough money to Disney or HBO Max or whoever, or Netflix or whoever, to go back to the way it used to be where they had exclusivity, how much money would they have to give up? Right? Because if I'm Disney right now, I'm going, hey, Slim, you got to provide me at least $60 million, because I made that from home. You gotta give me at least 60.
That's all in our pockets. Like, ain't gotta break that with nobody.
Nope.
So if you're not talking about pushing up ticket prices, how am I do that? Okay, listen.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure you understand what's happening, Perk.
Yeah, that's setup.
Let me just make sure you understand what's happening, Perk, because maybe you don't understand what's happening. One, Natasha was definitely the focus of this, and two, they're passing the torch, and that's important. You have to be able to give the torch off to the next one, because that's how this works. That's how you keep a franchise going. Like, everybody can't just get old and keep talking about family forever. Like, sometimes you gotta pass the torch. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to pass.
I gotta pass it to the family. I gotta pass it to the other family.
Can we get done on this? We moved on. Can we get off
No, we haven't.
Oh, it's not over, dog.
I'm sorry. As long as Fast and Furious movies come out, sir, this is going to be a thing.
Two more movies. They're gonna have to deal with this.
And an animated
they say that for now.
Ain't there an animated show? Well, that's already out, right?
The first season that was out on Netflix.
Oh well, he gonna show up in the show and say family. So
he already did. He already did in the episode 1 first season. Yeah, he already did that. I didn't even go study.
You know what? The thing is, people already knew about Natasha's character.
What else? So they didn't have to establish.
They're introducing a new character. They're introducing multiple new characters in this film. Her name's in it. Oh, and by the way, I think the biggest thing for her is that she got executive producer credit on it, which is a thing that we're noticing happen. Like, Tom Hiddleston got executive producer credit on Loki.
Yeah, on Loki.
And that's the thing that's something that Robert Downey pushed, because he's been in that seat from jump. Like, real talk. But again, like, real talk. Perp, if you pay attention to the movie, the whole theme about the movie was family.
Yeah, like look, when we went and watched it, or when we went out to watch it Sunday, like the whole time it come up, I'm sitting there trying not to bust out laughing.
Oh,
I feel Marcus behind me laughing. I know he was behind me laughing.
I wanted to just turn. I just wanted to turn down and be like, "Hey, sin, family."
But I wasn't trying to look at none of y'all.
I just wanted to yell it out, but I was like, I can't do that. I'm not gonna do that here.
Listen,
family.
He said, I thought I only had one family. Turns out I got two.
I'm like, y'all just stop bringing up family right now because they're gonna kill me when this is over.
For real. For real. Yeah, look, I think theaters got a lot of work cut out for them. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't feel bad for theaters at all. I don't want to see theaters go away. I just feel like theaters have to come up with something that is better. They're gonna have to change what they do. If you're not something like we went to go see it at Alamo Drafthouse, and the thing that's special about there is that like it's dinner in a movie. Like you can
right there
order food and have them bring it to you. You know, you write down what you want, you stand it up, they'll come by, pick it up.
Those type of theaters are the ones that kind of have something different.
I pick same thing.
Sinapolis,
and all that stuff.
Those ones that make a difference. Like at this point, they make it better. Like don't get me wrong. Like I would love to see movies in IMAX, but it's like at this point with the technology of the sound systems that we have at home, these beautiful 4K TVs. Like don't get me wrong, the IMAX screen is awesome, but this 50-inch 4K with the sound system and everything, Jonas, that's all rocking.
Yeah, I just don't think that movie theaters have enough of a draw, right? Like for me, my mom said it was solid, not great, but solid. I agree.
Yes, Kay, you can use your movie subscription multiple times a day. You can't see the same movie though.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to go watch every single movie that was currently in the theater, you could get a ticket for every single one that day. Go see all of them. You just can't watch it.
He wants to keep seeing movies at home. It's a thing for him. And again, like I appreciate that. Like again, like look, one of the things they brought up in the article I was reading about this was how the organization for theaters was saying like, you know, people can just give out their password to Disney Plus or whatever, like you know, stuff like that. All these other people can watch it. It's not necessarily just the person who subscribes, so you're losing, you know, a lot of money or whatever. But no, because you're getting subscriptions. And those people, they keep those subscriptions over time. Like that, those things they pay for them. Like, yo, if there's anything we've learned from like Game Pass and what that model is, right, and how it works in games cost way more. It's $70 a pop. Now you're getting it, you're not paying anywhere near that. So like when you consider what it costs you, if you're paying, I think Disney Plus is only like $7 a month anyway.
Sounds about right.
Let's just take it to 10. You know what I mean? If it was $10 a month, that's $120 a year for Disney Plus. Even if you pay for the premiere stuff, the what it costs you to go see one movie, if you have a large enough family like I do, you will pay almost that for one movie. They're gonna have to do more. K Dizzle, you're right. Theaters are like arcades, they're dying franchises. You know, arcades work now because they use cards to help you lose track of how much you're spending, and because they bring alcohol to you, because you can sit down and you can eat. That's why Dave and Buster's is a thing and arcades are not a thing. It's just it's super different. Hey Ty, was you on time? You just watching, you just sitting in the joint?
Not even
lurking.
Yeah, my man said I already bought Jungle Cruise. And here's the thing. I'm not mad at you. I thought about it. I haven't, and I probably won't unless my child says, I want to watch Jungle Cruise. Can we get it? And then for real, it's not that big a deal, like for $30. You know what I mean? Because
when does it drop? When does Jungle Cruise drop?
Like it's the 30th or something like that. Okay. Right. So K Dizzle, $100 plus for a family of 6 over here for a single movie versus $20 to $30. Like that's a real thing. Like that's what theaters really need to be able to contend with. Right. Because the thing is, you're not just asking, you got to keep in mind that you're not just asking somebody to drop that cost at the theater once. You're asking them to drop it at least twice. You're asking them to do it and then go buy the DVD or rent it or download it digitally and pay for it again, or wait for it to show up in the subscription service you're already paying for anyway. You know, eventually it'll show up in Netflix or whatever it is you have, right? And so now you're not just asking for $100, $120 or whatever for that one viewing for a full family. You're asking for that, and you're asking them to do it again, right? Or you're asking them to wait another 6 months or something like that. Hey, listen. And listen, I appreciate that. And I have T-Mobile, and T-Mobile Tuesdays is a great thing. But T-Mobile Tuesdays is a thing that exists because most people don't take advantage of it. In the same exact way that most people that have a subscription service, once they subscribe, they don't go in and unsubscribe.
Nope,
they just don't go back and turn it off. Like if the money is in the account, that joint's getting paid for.
Yeah,
it's just that's part of what those things are. They bank on you not remembering to do them or to take advantage of it. That is the kind of thing that is used to sell you on it, but not necessarily to keep you. And very few people in the grand scheme usually take advantage of that kind of stuff. My man said, of course not, Shelf. Hey, listen, it's fair, man. It's a different night. It's not even Tuesday. So you know what I mean? I give you a break today. Yeah, I think theaters really are going to have to come up with something better than like, or they're going to be more like amusement park. Like it's going to be like real talk. Like Disney could probably make a crap load of money if they just opened a theater
just specifically for
Disney movies. Yep.
You know what I mean? And just ran their stuff, whatever their new big one. There's something new to come out every month, like every other month. They got a brand new joint. You know what I'm saying? Like we know we gotta wait 2 months to get the next MCU joint, but Jungle Cruise is next month. You know what I mean? And then it's Shang-Chi, and then they'll have something else, and then it's Eternals, and then they'll have something else, and then it's Spider-Man, and there'll be something in January and February, and then it's gonna be
non-stop.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a real thing. So like theaters in and of themselves, again, what I'm thinking is you're going to end up seeing like Amazon buy theater chains or something like that. There's going to be something else that happens to theaters, in my opinion, that will maybe tie into a subscription you already have, right? So if Amazon, again, buys theaters and they can say, you get theater visits as part of your Amazon Prime, just like they give you Amazon Prime Video. Most people forget they even have Amazon Prime Video. If Disney buys a theater chain, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be a monopoly, but I'm sure there'd be some pushback. But it would be banana. It probably doesn't benefit them.
Disneyland and Disney World though.
It does. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't. It wouldn't.
Watch Cinderella with Cinderella
to buy a chain, right? Because and I do think that to an extent, depending on what it is and how big of a chain it is, it would be a monopoly because if they did that, unless they only showed their own films. Right. They would then have to be able to show other people's films, and that means they have a monopoly on MGM, on whatever, and those companies would be like, we'd never put another movie in the theater again. You know, everything's going streaming. You know, and which is already what they're basically doing. You know what I mean? Like all of what Warner Brothers has for their entire slate for the next year is all day and date.
HBO Max
and theater. It's day and date. I don't know nobody who went to the theater to see Space Jam. Speaking of Space Jam.
Do we?
Yeah. Did you watch it, Sin? Or you just hate it because you feel like it?
I have no desire to watch it.
That's what I'm saying. You just hate it. I think Amazon would do it. Real talk. And if they do it,
it's multiple uses they can get out of it. And
see, the thing is, you got to remember that Amazon already has relationships with all these companies because they have a streaming service that these other companies put their movies on already.
Yeah.
Not only do they put their movies into the streaming service, but they also sell them in physical form through Amazon for these companies. Not only that, but if they have a streaming service, more than likely their streaming service runs on Amazon Web Services anyway, like Netflix does. Netflix runs on Amazon Web Services. Without Amazon, there is no Netflix. It's just what it is, man. Listen, can I tell you that I'm gonna put some points back on the board for you, Perp, because real talk, Space Jam 2 was a giant Warner Brothers HBO Max commercial, bro.
Yeah.
They basically took Space Jam and turned that joint into Ready Player One for Warner Brothers, dog. Like everybody's in that joint. Like I watched it. My daughter saw it over the weekend, my youngest, and she was talking about how she was like, yeah, It was just weird seeing Pennywise in that joint. What you talking about, yeah? What you mean? What you mean? Yeah, Pennywise is in that joint, standing behind the bench. You know what I'm saying? Just chilling. But listen, dog, everybody's in that joint.
Yeah, I heard like Rick and Morty was in it.
Kong, Rick and Morty, everybody's in that joint, dog.
That did too much.
Nah, man, LeBron didn't really have to act. Yes, Rick and Morty are in that.
That's the only part I want to see is the Rick and Morty part. That's it. And it's probably something.
I'm gonna watch the joint just because I got HBO Max, just to say. But it's like
I'll watch it. I'll get drunk this weekend and watch it.
It was enjoyable. Like it wasn't,
and that's how I felt it was going to be.
It wasn't terrible. But it was perfect for just a straight, like that joint was a Aladdin 2 straight to DVD level joint. You understand what I'm saying? Like Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar is actually a pretty solid joint. However, we don't allow Pepe Le Pew no more. Pepe Le Pew got canceled. You know about that? Because he's part of the Me Too movement. Pepe Le Pew got canceled. Yes, Clockwork Orange, Cats, Animaniacs was in that joint. Like you could just watch that joint and just look and point out different.
And to me, that takes away from the movie. That takes away from the movie when you start seeing all these other characters pop up in there like that. Don't get me wrong, like in the original Space Jam, you know, they subtly did that, but now it's just.
I'm with you, KB. It was cool. I would be upset if I had gone to the theater though and paid for it. I'd have been mad. I'd have been hot, but maybe not because I already knew what I was in for though. You know what I mean? So it's like the expectation levels are lowered. Like my expectation levels for Space Jam were low before people started saying the joint wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? They was already like, come on, dog, Space Jam 2. Like you can't lightning in a bottle. You can't just manufacture that and just do it twice. You know what I'm saying? Right. And like, you can't try to take LeBron James and make him the legacy that is Michael Jordan. They almost even play with that a little bit in the film. Like there's this whole scene where it looks like they about to bring Michael Jordan in. They start playing the theme music for the Bulls. You know what I'm saying? When they coming out doing the lineup or whatever, straight up brought Michael B. Jordan into that joint. I'm like, hey, Daffy, you dumb, dog. That's the wrong Michael Jordan, dog. You dumb.
No, that's funny. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm sorry, Sylvester. All it's funny is I don't know what though.
That's funny.
Like, the joint's not.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was funny. It was funny, dog. Michael B. Jordan showed up and was like, "Yeah, man, I was just getting some popcorn and this cat grabbed me, dog." Like, just like.
Oh, that's clean.
Hey, listen, the Goon Squad being turned into creatures was stupid and pointless. It was stupid and pointless in the first joint. What you mean? You just was 6 when the first joint happened, dog.
It's the same catalyst.
The joint was dumb then too, bruh.
I guess people just can't get over the fact this movie was not made for us that actually grew up when the first Space Jam. This was made for the kids now to go in and absorb. You watch it as a family, you're gonna enjoy it.
They tried to update it and make it about video games and make it like it's cool. It's really not for us. But even my daughter was like, I asked her, I was like, "Did you like it?" And she was like, "I mean, it was all right." You know what I mean? She was like, "It was all right." But that's also because even though she recognized somebody like Pennywise, and like she spent enough time with me that she knows Animaniacs, she knows, like she can recite the theme song for you. You know what I mean? Like she knows stuff. But most of the characters in that joint don't mean nothing to her, cause she don't care about basket. Like she don't care about LeBron James. She doesn't care about Diana Taurasi. She doesn't care. Like she don't know nothing about none of them basketball players. It doesn't mean anything. The NBA don't mean what it used to mean, especially not to her. And so when you take the Looney Tunes characters don't mean nothing. She don't care about Foghorn Leghorn, dog, or Tweety. Like, they don't mean nothing to her. So like the reason why it's lost, you gotta remember that like when Space Jam came out, Warner Brothers had stores, bruh, in every mall. Like that was a major thing, dog. Like we was taking them Jones and making fake black people shirts of these characters, dog. And making them, like a thing, putting them in like jeans with their pants all the way down and making them look like crisscross for some reason or whatever. And like Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes was still a thing even when I was in like middle school, high school, and beyond that. So when Space Jam hits, not only was the NBA the peak of what the NBA ever was. It was better then than it is now, period. I don't care what you say. The stars that were in the NBA now meant more than they do now. The characters that were in the show, being in Space Jam, meant more, not just to us, but to the generation of like my parents. Yeah. Those characters, Looney Tunes, like those characters mattered to them and to us. Right now, my like no characters that she cares about were in this joint. And most kids now, the characters they care about are video game characters. They're not even cartoon characters. They Fortnite, they're Roblox, they're Minecraft, they're like, they don't care about any of these animated characters. Like, and it's not Cartoon Network. So you're not getting Craig of the Creek. You're not, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's they don't care about any of them. So this is, in my opinion, an attempt on Warner Brothers' part to try to make the characters they do have ownership over relevant to a new audience. And I personally do believe it misses the, but you're right. Charles Barkley was absolutely hilarious in the first
Charles Barkley just funny.
Put him in this joint.
He just funny. Like
I also want you to know Disney makes money off this movie. Because they pulled in my man from ESPN. What's the dude, the announcer? I can't think of his name right now. The white dude.
Oh no, not Stephen A.
No, not Stephen A.
That's
definitely not a white dude. I can't think of his name. Anyway, he does all the announcing stuff for ESPN. ESPN is owned by Disney. They paid Disney to do this, so just keep in mind that Disney got their hands in some of everything. They're making that money. They made money off of this joint. Yes, I think you're right. That is part of why they had all these other characters, just for people to have some. Yes, Ernie. There is something to be said for having other characters that are identifiable. For the parents, I guess, that might be watching, but again, it's not like they didn't have speaking roles. It's just somebody you might see in the background as you looking at it. Like, that's it. They mentioned the Iron Giant, who it's all about family. That's your man. They mentioned the Iron Giant. They mentioned King Kong. Like, not even joking, dog. Like, at one point, and I want to shout out Don Cheadle, because for real, I think that dude is incredible in everything he does. And as a villain in this joint was very Spy Kids. Yeah, it was very Spy Kids. It was like corny villain, kind of kiddie villain, whatever. I hated Spy Kids. Hated that joint. My kids loved that joint, though. Loved that joint. Listen, it's not bad. It's not a bad movie. I just hate it. It was so corny. The special effects are so garbage. It was terrible.
Yeah, it's
terrible to look at. It's terrible to watch. Like, it just was. You're right. Rick and Morty being in it for literally like 4 seconds.
What I said, that's the only part I want to see.
All they did was come back. Listen, they came back. They dropped off the Tasmanian Devil. Was like, we can't even handle Slim no more. Y'all can have him back.
Hey, that's a Rick move right there. Hey, y'all can have this Tasmanian Devil back. We don't want him.
If Rick Sanchez is saying that,
and
if he could have cussed in that jump, Yo, F this Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched it today myself. Again, here's the thing. For all of what I'm saying is so bad about it, the joint was actually enjoyable, dog. Like I laughed. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. It's got a decent like family story, you know, kind of an important dynamic about, you know, being who you are, and as a parent, letting your kids be who they are. Like, all of those things, like, it's all those undertones are there. It is a good family film. It really is. It's not intended. They don't make summer blockbusters anymore. You have to understand that. That's not a thing anymore. That doesn't exist. Marvel killed that, dog.
Yeah.
They killed that, bro. Listen, there are so many Game of Thrones references in this joint. Like, they literally go everywhere. They go to the Harry Potter world. They go to the Game of Thrones world. Like, LeBron James in Game of Thrones, in Harry Potter. Like, this LeBron James had on he was like, oh, the Harry Potter world. And then he looked and he was like, oh, and Hufflepuff. And then Bugs Bunny turns, looks at the camera, goes, nerd alert. Like, just... Which is lost. Like, kids don't even know what nerd alert means, dog. Like, that's mean. Like, I don't even know if you can say that. Like, I don't even know if that's okay. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, it again. Oh, listen. Soundtrack.
I gotta hear from myself, Perp. You be making some terrible.
He has been saying terrible things. This is what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say. The soundtrack is actually okay, but it ain't.
It ain't Space Jam the first jump.
It ain't the first Space Jam. That joint don't got no hit 'em highs on that joint, dog.
Hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em high.
That joint got
hit 'em low,
that joint
hit 'em
ain't
low,
got, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no 69 boys on that joint, Space Jam, dog. They not, it ain't like that. It ain't like that, but it has artists that kids will recognize. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't expect it to be better than the first one, nothing like that, especially to somebody like me. Nah.
It's not. For us, it's not gonna be.
Yeah.
Because it's not meant for us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not meant for us. It's good for us to enjoy.
That Baby Kurt Franklin joint is the main joint that plays as soon as the credits roll, and that joint is fire. Stop playing with me.
Wait, Little Baby and Kurt. Hold on, Little Baby and Kurt Franklin have a track together.
Like,
yeah, like they opened up the BET Awards with it. That's what I first heard. I was like, oh, this old Jack Craig.
They don't doing something.
That is just two different worlds colliding.
I mean, it is what it is, dog. You know what I'm saying? Get your paper however you can get it. Hey, look, we've been at it for a long time already. Here's what I need to do. Jokes. We need to talk about the fiasco that was Money in the Bank last night. Not because of what happened.
What happened? Oh no!
Like on the Money in the Bank itself.
Oh no! I'm talking about Peackock side.
Oh, you saw? Yeah, bro. Talk to me. What
Peackock side,
man. Y'all was pissed off.
No, so all through the night, Peackock was having little iffy here and there. It got to it at one point during the night. It was unwatchable. Like, I mean, stops and skips and black screens, you name it. Like, it was happening. Like you couldn't even watch the match the whole way through. It literally would stop, skip, black screen, go out, come back in. Initially, you closed it. Like, first thing I was like, let me just close this jump all the way back out, go back into it. Jump was still doing.
Give me just a second. We need to address this.
I have not seen the new one, Nick, so I cannot answer that myself.
I don't even think that's a question. I was gonna say that's not even a.
Oh, the first joint's better.
Yeah, I don't even need to watch the new one to know.
The first one actually has. Technically, it has a storyline that makes more sense as far as the full threads of the story. It's put together better. The first one's better. That is what that is.
I'm watching back to back. I haven't watched Space Jam probably since when it came out. Let us do a double feature.
It's time. Do it.
Yeah, do a double feature.
Continue. I'm sorry. Your Peacock wasn't working.
Yes.
You have a problem with your Peacock?
Yeah, it was more
stopping on you and going black on you, buddy.
No, it was more than 5 minutes. But like, I mean, to the point. At first, I would, obviously when it happens, you think it's just you. You're just like, oh, whatever, my connection going in.
Yeah,
and
I
out.
saw you post about it.
Yeah,
on Facebook.
Because I was like, is it just me? And then I started having people respond like, nah, this don't acting weird. And then I started seeing it
last night.
Dog. And then I started seeing it in my other wrestling group. So then I went to Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was when it was like a hashtag. I forget what the hashtag was. Peacock fail. I don't remember what it was, but they were lighting, including me, were lighting Peacock up. I don't know what, like, the live streaming thing, for whatever reason, Peacock is not 100% fully suited for that just yet. Because I would say
run it down for you.
Yeah,
because I looked into it. I looked into it. Listen, let me start with this. Let me show you the first thing I saw when I went on Twitter. My man Mark Henry said, I should have a match with Peacock. Somebody will get their ass.
Gonna induct Peacock into the Hall of Pain. Let's go.
Hey, dog, listen. My man worked for AEW. Am I tripping? Don't Mark Henry work for AEW? Yeah, he was going in, bro.
You disrespecting my sport.
So I did some investigating and looked into some things because stuff like this I find so interesting. I love this kind of stuff, right? So WWE didn't have any issues. It wasn't
the WWE network was perfectly fine.
WWE network was fine. Mm-hmm. Internationally, it was fine. They weren't having any issues at all. They didn't have problems with their tech, which is why they didn't stop or try to fix it or whatever. It was all on Peacock. And it was wherever Peacock was picking up the stream from to then push it out to their viewers. Mm-hmm. That was where the issue was. Because what people ended up having to do was close the app and then go back into the app to get it working again. But once they did that, if you notice, what happened was it no longer had any of the Peaccock like branding on it at all. It was actually, so what they did was they shut down the Peaccock stream and they picked up the WWE network.
Yep.
And they were showing the WWE network stream instead of showing the Peaccock stream. So they issued an apology and all that or whatever. Listen, here's the thing. I know there's a lot of people, and Joe should probably one of them, that only have Peacock because of the WWE. So we need to talk about this. Because I was actually having this conversation earlier with Frosty. I was talking to Frosty earlier today, and we were having a conversation about this, which I don't know why we were talking about. Well, I do know why we were talking about this, because I was saying we're probably going to talk about it tonight. But she was like, well, they're going to have to fix it. And I was like, no, they don't. She was like, yeah, they're going to have to. And I was like, no, they don't. They already got their money. I was like, and people are not going to stop. Listen, let me ask you a question, Joe. Are you planning on shutting down your Peacock subscription?
I can't. Like, I even thought about, I was like, yo, I'm about to VPN this joint up and sign up for a WWE Network subscription. I was like, that's going to be too much extra. But no, I'm not going to shut it down. Like, I don't have a choice. Like, right now, and I will say right now, I'll give you two scenarios. If we weren't in this time right now where we were having the fans come back, I probably would be like kind of partner away from it. But now with having fans back, the atmosphere is different, and I want to be a part of this again. So at least for now, I'm not getting rid of Peacock. But it's like,
wait, let me just make sure I understand this. Because the fans are back, like physically in the stadiums.
It's a different. It's a different.
Be a part of the virtual audience. I just want to make sure I am understanding what you're saying.
I don't want to say it's being a part of the virtual audience. It's just in going through the whole Thunderdome era is what it's being called, the Thunderdome era. They were, pumping in the fake sounds and all that. It was bad. So now actually having people there and hearing like the reactions to things the way that they should be when certain things happen.
Oh, you mean like when Charlotte was flipping people off and they was trying to censor it but couldn't because they was letting her have it? Okay.
And that is perfect. Like, that's when you tell a story.
Marcus, get out, yo.
When they started, they were cheering
Frosty.
Where have you been?
The fans were cheering for Becky Lynch because Becky had pretty much got everybody was like, yeah, this is a fine day here in Texas. It would be sad if someone got beat up and lost their spot in the money bag. So everyone thing was Becky was about to show up. So when they started chanting her, Charlotte did the perfect thing a heel would do. It was like she gave him the response that a heel would do, and I was like,
which is what's supposed to happen.
It was like awesome. Yeah. But then I'm like, why? At first I thought it was a glitch, but then it hit me. I was like, oh, they're trying to censor this right now. But I think someone just said, you know what, forget it. It's too late now. Just let it go. Like I don't know what they were trying to do, but yeah, it's just that whole atmosphere. It just makes the thing so much different.
Is there? I mean, what would it take? How bad would it have to get before you would give up your subscription again? Because for me, it was like, if I'm Peacock, we already got your subscription. Yeah. All these millions of people or whatever that don't care about nothing else Peacock has, but want to watch WWE, they're in it for that specifically. WWE has done this deal. The ink is dry. It's not an issue with WWE. Like, is WWE going to lose ground to AEW because of it? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like I can't see them caring enough. They was looking for you, Frosty. You messed up.
We needed that band hammer.
So yeah, like I don't see them caring enough to if it continues, it'll be an issue. If it continues, it'll be an issue. I guess my question is, what are you gonna
do? You know what?
What are you gonna do?
I mean, there's ways that I can still watch WWE pay-per-views, but it's like I just want to get it the easiest, get the best quality that I can see it on the screen, so they can figure something out. I can go do a VPN and sign up for a WWE Network account in Japan or somewhere. If I mean, I'm already paying like New Japan. I'm giving them $9.60 some odd, whatever the yen to the dollar is to have New Japan. Like I do the same thing like that, but it's like I don't know. Like if like I do use Peacock for other things like Chicago PD and like the PD shows and things like that. So like obviously those type of things I don't expect to translate over with the glitches and stuff like that.
You do not subscribe to Peacock for Chicago PD, dog. You're lying.
No.
Watch it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I specifically signed up for Peacock for it, but obviously when switching over from WWE, I'm still paying the same thing, but it was like, okay, I can have these other things that I normally would watch and be able to have access to them.
Sure, but your money was going to that one thing. Like it was going, if you were paying $10 a month for WWE and all you were getting was WWE, and like, yes, you could go back and watch all the old
and
ones and all that
things.
kind of stuff. Like I get that, but what I'm saying is your money was just going to that.
For that.
Now that same cost is going to a streaming service that's trying to do way more than just WWE.
Now I will say this that could do it, because as of recently they just started removing stuff like Stone Cold's the Broken Skull podcast for whatever reason. They hadn't been putting those on Peacock. They were only on the WWE. Like they started showing them, but for whatever reason they stopped putting them on Peacock. Now I think since then they've gone back and added them back into it, but if they start taking out some of that extra drizzle that they put in, like that's probably the only real thing that I watch outside of the actual pay-per-views that's on there for it. But if they start taking away some of that extra content, then it'll start looking at it a little funky.
Listen, jokes, I love you. I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. You will continue to keep Peacock if they keep Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast, but if they take Stone Cold's podcast away again,
well, it's taking away more stuff. Like the whole point of the network, obviously, the prime use of the network was for pay-per-views. There's no ifs, ands, or but about that. $9 you get in, watch pay-per-views. It is what it is. But it's like the extra things that they added into it, like Stone Cold's podcast. There's other content that they do throughout the entire year on there. When that stuff starts disappearing, it starts making it be like, well, yeah, I'm paying for the pay-per-views, but now I can see the other things. Now, granted, the pay-per-views pay for themselves, so
I would like to address what Frosty is saying. It sounds like they get at least 3 months worth of subscription from you before you would give up.
Well, right now,
you also don't care about wrestling, though. Not the way wrestling people care about wrestling. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this audience is super niche. Like wrestling, the people who love wrestling are like the people who love anime. It's niche. It's very specific. Like there are people. I listen to people complain about Crunchyroll.
I was just going to say that.
Consistently, dog.
But they're not canceling it.
Thing. Them Bama's ain't canceling nothing. They in there, bruh. They are in there, dog. And they talk so much trash and talk about how bad the app is and blah, blah. They ain't going nowhere, dog. They not going nowhere. And if they push the price up, they be mad, right? But if they push the price up, maybe they can make the app better, or maybe they can fix the issues they have, or whatever. It's just, see, that's what I'm saying. My man, straight up, right there. Crunchyroll is the most garbage-ish. But listen, there are other places you can get your anime, or you can get it directly, or you can download it, or you can get it on YouTube.
Well, hopefully they'll fix
so many places. But here's the thing: you do it because of the ease of access. That's
plain and simple. That's a definite. But hopefully they'll fix it. Like now, the Funimation finally got a facelift and an overhaul, and that joint works. And so now, like I would hope they would take that same concept and roll it into Crunchyroll, or at least take Crunchyroll, roll it into Funimation. I don't know which way they want to go about it as of yet, but the Funimation app now is clean. Like the way that it operates, the way that it plays, picks back up. The joint is clean now. It was a much needed overhaul that I hope Crunchyroll will do as well too. But
Marcus, they never had a problem with Crunchyroll. Yeah, but they tell me you watch garbage on Crunchyroll, Marcus. That's what they tell me.
It's kind of his thing.
That's what they told me.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they told me. I wouldn't know, dog. Like you're not gonna ever catch me paying for a subscription for anime. That's not a thing I do. Now, all of the Crunchyroll stuff that's already rolled in to like HBO Max that I already have, HBO Max joint runs fine. Like I dig it. And a lot of the stuff that's there is stuff I want to see. So that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Gee, if Disney Plus charged $5 more a month and added UFC paper, no, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Just do the package for all three and pay them for their pay-per-views. Dana White is not having that, dog. My man is not having that. Nope. You gonna pay him for them joints, dog. You gonna pay him for roll that in. And as big of a deal as they are, I'm gonna tell you right now, there are so many places you can watch great people fight that ain't UFC. Bro, there are some. Did you see that joint I posted earlier on Facebook today? Facts. But World Star used to be dope for fights, but now they got too much other garbage in there. It's too much stuff. They trying to be funny. I don't like it. They're too diversified. I just want them to fight. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Frosty says she literally has to hook up her laptop to the TV to watch Crunchyroll. See, that shouldn't be a thing. That shouldn't be a thing. Don't you gotta I guess there's no app directly on the TV. That's going too far. You know what I'm saying? On the Fire Stick, it's trash. And again, sometimes that is about where you're using the app, because sometimes it is trash on different like platforms. Like it might not be as bad on Apple. Like YouTube, the way YouTube runs on Xbox is different from the way it runs on my TV. Is different from the way it runs on.
I know, Marcus.
Like all of that is a thing. Again, that's an issue. That's something about the deal that they did. Again, that's one of the other things that's happening is that was actually one of the things that the theater chains were talking about with Disney Plus, was that people who have Disney Plus and they watch it through Apple TV or watch it through Roku or whatever, that not only is Disney losing profits because of not giving the theaters exclusivity, but they're losing profits because they have to pay like a 15%, piece to whoever it is that's running the app for them, or whatever. Right. I mean, whatever, man. 15% of 60 million is a lot. You know what I'm saying? But it's 15% of 60 million.
Yes.
If somebody offered you 15% of 60 million right now, you wouldn't take it? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Yeah, I just look, realistically, I do feel like I feel like personally Peacock doesn't care. I just don't think they care.
Have they ever had any other issues even close like this before? Have their jokes?
The pay-per-views have done, I would say every other pay-per-view, they've had these issues. Not as bad as what it was last night, but they've definitely had. Okay. Because in the beginning, you couldn't, like, I believe now, I haven't attempted, like, you couldn't like rewind like pay-per-views and stuff with Peacock. Like if you didn't catch it when it was happening, you couldn't like start over from the beginning or do any of that. You had to pick it up from where it was and just go straight through, and then after it completely finished, then you could go back and then watch the replay of it. But they didn't give you that flexibility like with the network. You could just go in, say, oh yeah, just start from the beginning and just roll through it, or like fast forward. So I mean they added in a few things, but they still got to do some other things to it.
I mean, Peacock is a fledgling service, bro. Mm-hmm. It is. It's a bad interface, which is a lot of times what happens when you try to roll out an app that's on multiple platforms. An app is not an app. It's different. Just like that, you can have the same app on Android and Apple, but they're different. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. They don't always have all the same bells and whistles or the same options or whatever. Yeah, that's development. You know what I mean? You're developing for a different platform. So, like, we have the discussion all the time when we talk about video games, and like if you look at the fiasco that was Cyberpunk's, but we're trying to develop for all these different platforms. Yeah. It's not, it's Series X, it's Series S, it's PS5, it's PS4, it's PS4 Pro, it's Xbox One, it's all these different platforms plus PC, right? It's the same thing. If you're putting an app out and you want people to be able to watch it, then you are developing for Android phones. All the different versions of Android phones and the different versions of Android. For iPhone, you are developing for Apple TV, you're developing for television. So that's Samsung, that's LG, that's Insignia, that's whatever. You're developing for Roku, You have to do that. You have to work that web development for so many different things, and you're going to do it for wherever you have the most people viewing. That's where you're going to put the most time and effort into doing that development for. And so other formats just aren't going to be quite as good. Like, that's just, you know what I mean? That's just kind of what it is. Right. Crunchyroll has been aware for years. They don't care because people are not stopping.
They're not going to cancel their subscription.
They will continue to pay for it. And then somebody comes along and just buys them. Am I not tripping, right? Sony owns Crunchyroll.
Yeah, they do now.
Yeah.
Just like they bought Evo. They don't know any, like, they don't care. Like, what is Sony's track record with running an app?
Not strong.
Nothing. No, nothing.
There's no reason for them to touch it. They don't care. Peacock doesn't care. They already got your money. They could ride this joint out until whenever the deal is done with WWE. That's it. They can ride that joint out.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
I wish it was that simple.
Heather, I understand that about the back end. What's the excuse for poor user interface? Like, copy Netflix and be done. The excuse is that you still have to develop the user interface for every individual platform.
Mm-hmm.
And not everything operates the same way. Like, in some cases, you're developing for touch screen. In some cases, you're developing for, like, if you have a television, if you buy, almost every television is a smart television now. You're trying to develop an app that works with a television remote versus an app that works with a touchscreen versus an app that works with a controller.
Mm-hmm.
The what you have to go through on the back end to make the user interface work, look good. You know what I mean? Like, it is much more difficult to really suss out what the differences are between having something that displays at 1080 versus something that displays at 4K, and you have to have your interface, your resolutions. Like, we see it a lot of times. Again, it's one of those things, you see it in game development more often. Like, they take a game, they up-res a game, right? So you have a game that came out, let's say on the last set of consoles, right? That was set for 1080p, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Now you're able to up-res it or have it run at a higher resolution. But when you do that, you take the assets that are in the folders and you bump them up so that they can be run by a processor that can push them better, but you don't necessarily update the UI. So now, while the graphics themselves and the running and the shooting is crisp and clean or whatever, the actual interface, the writing that shows up when you're talking to somebody or whatever, all that's blurry now. All of that's muddy, right? And when you're taking content that was made in the 80s, Dragon Ball, One Piece, whatever, and you're trying to move that onto a platform that now is designed or developed for something that's supposed to be a 4K TV, or you have a smaller version of the same TV, right? So Sam's got a 60-inch TV. What size is your TV? 65? 60?
Yeah, 65.
So you got a 65-inch TV. If his TV, and it's a Samsung, right?
Yeah, yes.
All right. So if in the same family of Samsung TVs, I have the exact same family of TV, but I have the 40-inch, right? Or I have the 32-inch. His joint does 4K at 65, and mine does 1080 at 32, because that's all I need in the bedroom. You would think it's the same app. It's all Samsung. It's all running on Android. So it should all be the same. But it's not, because it has a display differently. So you actually have to write different code for the UI in order for it to look proper. And then you can go in and adjust things. So if you think about it, if you have a cable box or a satellite box and you run that to your television, okay? Your television is designed, it's a 4K TV. You're sending a signal from your cable box that isn't 4K. What you happen to be watching right now isn't 4K, okay? Most channels on cable aren't. They're 1080, if they're that, right? So you're sending a signal to your TV that's not 4K. Your TV is trying to up-res it. Your TV has a software that's built into it that's trying to make it look as good as it possibly can, even though it's an older signal. But there are a couple of things that you can do. You're watching something that was not done in widescreen. It was done in
4x3 box. In a box.
You have an option in the television to have the television try to automatically make what's on screen fit the screen.
Disgusting.
But then there's also an option on the cable box to adjust the format of the screen to try to make it 4x3 or widescreen or letterboxed or 16:9, all of which are not the same thing, right? So your TV is trying to send a signal to the and it's all digital. So the TV is trying to send a signal. I mean, the cable box trying to send a signal to the TV. TV's trying to fix that. Cable box is trying to fix that. They're sending back, misinformed information. And somewhere along the lines, you're a programmer sitting in a room trying to figure out how to make it look good, no matter where you watch it, no matter what you're on, no matter what you're doing. It's complicated. It just is. It's complicated. So if you're just gonna pay me anyway, why put in the time and the effort? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? You only subscribe to this because you wanted to watch one show, and then you found all this other stuff, and it's not going away. It's just it is what it is. You know what I mean? I think I just realized, like, I had forgotten, like, that Netflix went up again. The Netflix is now $20 a month.
20 or something, yeah, for that 4K jump. Yep.
$20 a month. And I was talking to my parents the other day because my mother said to me the other day, she said, you know what, for the first time ever, I tried to watch something on Netflix and it told me it was too many people watching at the same time. And I was like, that's because you don't pay for the 4K upgraded 5 streams at one time joint that I told you needed to get when you got the new TV. Now you got multiple TVs that do 4K in the house, and you're not even taking advantage of what Netflix can do. So the version of Netflix that you're running isn't even
4K.
The version that the TV, you know what I'm saying, could do. And literally, Netflix is built into the satellite box has a Netflix channel. It has a Netflix channel. You put in the channel number, it goes to Netflix, you log in. Right? Now the box is trying to do it. But it's also built into the TV.
TV, yeah.
There's a Netflix app directly on the TV, which
got a
90% of the time will look better than it will if you run it from somewhere else. Most of the time when I watch Netflix, I do it through my Xbox onto my TV. Even though I know if I use the version of it that's on the TV, it's going to look better because it's not an outside source trying to send it to the TV first and then the TV trying to decode that source to show it to me. If you run it directly on the TV, chances are it's going to be better. It just tends to look better. Also, I pay for it. So I want it. I want the 4K and multiple people can watch. But like my kids, like sometimes they watch on my account. Sometimes they watch on my parents' account. Apparently, I guess they was watching on her account. Well, she couldn't watch what she wanted to watch. And I was just like, you could just log into my joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, that's what the reality of it is. That was one of the things that I had to consider when we first started talking about Disney Plus, before Disney Plus came out and they announced the price. I was like, what I need to know is, do they have 4K? How many people how many different accounts can you have? And how many accounts can be watching at the same time? Mind you, that was before the pandemic hit and it became a more common thing for people to do things like group watch.
Yeah.
Still, generally they expect you to group watch from different accounts. You know what I'm saying? But like I've done group watch and I'm watching from my phone and somebody else is watching on a TV. And when I do group watch and I watch on the TV or on the computer, it tells me to use my phone to log in so that I can send happy faces to people while we watch together. Somebody's responsible for trying to do all that stuff on the back end. I don't know how much Crunchyroll costs, but I doubt they care enough to put in the time and the effort.
They obviously don't.
Worth it. When you're not getting rid of it, because they, again, that's part of the issue with the streaming wars. They own the content, and if you want the content, you don't get it. Like, where you gonna get it? What's that mean? I'm a ghost face? What that mean? I don't know what that means. Is that ghost face? Just the mask. I don't know what that means. I'm unfortunately not as savvy as I can be when it comes to some of this tech, I am not fluent in Twitch speak.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I'm working on it. Oh, it's just a smile. I didn't know. It wasn't like
Look, I ain't know
they
that.
don't look like a smiley face. They look like a robot
No.
or like one of them
Marcus,
one of them
take
joints
those.
that you put money in so
like-
you can look far when you on the Empire State Building. That's what it looked like. I didn't know.
Like a Jabberwocky.
Marcus, take those exclamation marks off of that.
Hey,
Just
Goldberg.
delete.
Goldberg has the best spear.
Just delete that. No, because he's here. No, just no.
He's here.
No.
Is he here?
No.
What does here mean? He's here.
He's currently on television right now.
Oh, okay. That'll be all right.
No.
Listen, it's time to wrap this up anyway. It's always a great time talking with y'all. Here's the deal.
Facts.
Cutscenes will happen like normal. I'm not gonna be there. I'm gonna let them two run it. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna let them have it.
Man,
y'all
we got this.
Y'all support them. Listen, dog.
We got this.
Jokes.
I'm already putting stuff together.
I already know the first thing we're gonna go in on.
See what I'm saying?
It's on there, but that's not the first. See,
That's the first one.
Curveball.
I don't want to play this Chris Tales at midnight tonight.
That joint does drop tonight.
It does drop tonight. There's a couple other things dropping tonight too. I'm already ready. Listen, that's what I'm talking about, Frosty. Get in there. Ban the host.
Really?
Okay.
She said I'm ready to ban the host. That's incredible. Yeah, so look. So cutscenes Thursday. This Sunday will be the Loading Snacks Movie Club super in-depth conversation about Black Widow. Perp, I'm highly suggest you get in that movie club, dog.
Yes, sir.
And be prepared to discuss how you feel. Yeah,
defend those things you were saying. Then
we're going all the way in. So that's happening this Sunday. I don't want to spill any more beans. I have a few other things brewing that even the other two people that are in here hosting with me don't know about yet because we haven't talked about it yet, but we will after the show's over.
Curveball after the show's over.
After the show's over. Jokes, you got a job to do.
Gotcha.
Do your job. Do your job. There it is, y'all. It's the link. For the link tree, hit that. Check us out everywhere we are. Follow us across everything. Join our chats, our groups, our anime chat, our wrestling chat, our MCU chat. Spoiler Boys is on hiatus currently. That's not going to last very long, though.
Not for too long. Not
very long. We don't have a whole lot of time. But y'all make sure y'all check us out. If you have not already purchased merch from the merch store link is there. I would highly recommend going there and checking that out. Probably going to be some new additions to the merch store coming up shortly. Still some things to be worked out as far as that's concerned. Another thing we'll discuss when you guys aren't here. Then we got a job to do.
Yes, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dorch, and Tyrone Carson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
It's very true. Yes, we do. So much love. You heard Marcus is a part of Beats and Beatdowns now. Is that because you intend to beat him down? Like, is there a fight coming?
I know, really.
That's what I keep hearing. Is that?
I mean, if y'all do that, we can figure the music out and get the music in there and make it work somehow.
Yep.
Don't forget to drop your OnlyFans joint, Marcus.
So I want y'all to know that my youngest daughter said something to me about OnlyFans the other day because she said, y'all always be in there making fun of Marcus and his OnlyFans.
Oh, I love you.
I'm right, dog. I couldn't keep a straight face. Oh man, I couldn't do it.
Oh
yeah, has a world star.
Oh god. Oh god.
Oh my gosh, she tried to kill me with that one.
Oh man. Okay.
That was great. Oh, that was great. Oh.
Oh God.
That's a good ride home, y'all.
Oh.
So on that note, man, listen, we're gonna wrap this up. I greatly appreciate y'all being here. I really do. I would greatly appreciate it if you all would go wherever you are and just throw a like and so forth here. If you would share, that would be great. That would help us out a lot. If you haven't checked us out on Patreon, please do that. There is more new content coming your way. Again, we're continuing to work. We have a lot going on. We're doing press work at Otakon, as well as it looks like more than likely Awesome Con, but we also have a panel at Awesome Con. We're doing another Being Comfortable Being a Geek panel. Again, we love having new people on to discuss what their journey as a geek was and how they got comfortable and so forth. We have some really great people who are going to be joining us for that. So we'll be giving you a little bit more information about that soon. So look forward to that. And there are still a few more other secret things that are brewing too. So since I'm gonna leave y'all with the anime cliffhanger of how there's more stuff coming, but I can't tell you yet.
Find out on the next episode of Loading Snacks Weekly.
Facts. Listen, greatly appreciate y'all being here, hanging out with us in the chat, having a good time as always. Appreciate y'all being great people, not just to us, but to one another. Please keep doing just that. With that, we are out. Toodles.